In this screencast, I'm going to talk about Boolean modeling. The idea of Boolean modeling is it allows us to do kind of a true-false kind of math with shapes. So just to give a sort of visual representation of that, let's start with the simplest form. I've got three copies of this cube and sphere when they're overlapping, and you'll see how they're overlapping in a second as I cut them apart. But let's say that I select first the cube and then the sphere, and now if I go into the spacebar menu and I go to Object and Boolean Operation right here, so Object, Boolean Operation, I can now choose to intersect these two objects. This is going to compute what's called the intersection of these two objects. It's basically the space that both these objects are occupying. So it actually has computed a new shape for me here, which is that shape there in the corner that only the cube and the sphere together are occupying. That's nice. I could also select these, and so I select the cube and then the sphere. So I select the cube, hold down Shift, and then select the sphere. And now W to go back to Boolean Tools. That was under the spacebar menu. That was Objects and then Boolean Tools. If I compute the union, that's going to give me a shape that's both of these together. So in fact, I can actually move this out of the way. And when I select this, you see I've got one shape here that's made up of the combination of both of those two shapes. That's pretty handy. And in fact, actually, if we change our view here to wireframe, we can see that there's actually a difference between the two separate cube and sphere shapes, so cube, sphere, and one shape that's both. And in fact, what that is that we have a shape that is exactly the outside surface of those two shapes. Let's go back to solid, which is a little bit easier to visualize here. The last version of Boolean modeling that we have is a little bit more complicated, and this is called the difference. We think of a difference as being like subtraction. So say I want to subtract the sphere from the cube. Now I would take away the part of the cube that's covered by the sphere. So I would say that's like saying the cube, so I select the cube minus the sphere, so holding down Shift, I then select the sphere. And now I'm going to compute the difference. And what I should end up with is a shape that is a cube with a sphere cut out of it. It's actually worth thinking about this again, because if I were to do that in the other order and say that I want to compute the sphere minus the cube, so I selected the sphere and then the cube, if I compute the difference, I'm going to get a different shape. We can't see it right here, but what I've got right here is a sphere that has a cube-shaped corner cut out of it. So that is the three versions of Boolean modeling. We have an intersection where only the part of the two shapes that are overlapping remains. We have the union, which creates a new shape that's the outside surface of both the shapes together, combined. And we have the difference, which is computing the first shape I select minus the second shape. So cube minus sphere to cut the sphere out of the cube, or sphere minus cube to cut the cube out of the sphere.